Saxon Algebra 1, Lesson 100. Journey together. And the topic is rounding numbers. This is something you've learned to do probably more than once in your math history, but we're going to review it again because it's easy to forget the fine-tuned details of this. All right, in order to talk about rounding numbers, we first have to talk about, place value. And place value is something you've talked about a million times, but that's okay. I'm going to just talk about it one more time. Place value starts with a decimal, right? We didn't learn that in the first place. You probably started in the first place learning about the ones place. We call it the ones place or the units place. Either one is perfectly fine. And then we learned that there's a tens place, and a hundreds place, and a thousandths place, thousands place, 10,000, and on and on and on. You just add a zero for every additional place, right? Okay, fabulous. Now, that's where it all started, right? Like in probably second grade or something. You probably learned something along those lines. And then there are decimal places as well. And what we learned is that the first one is called the tenths place, and it represents 1/10. Now this is confusing because sometimes we feel like these two balance, but there isn't a oneths place. It goes straight to a tenths place. And then it works the same way where we just keep adding a zero, but this time we add them to the denominator. And they go on infinitely. Oh, I did an arrow one way and dot, dot, dot the other. That's confusing. I'll do both on both, so now you're doubly confused. Okay, there is a copy of this grid on page 422 that goes into, it goes further in each direction. It gives you a little more detail. If you ever want to refer to it, there's the page number, but you get the gist, right? This way. Now, when we round numbers, we need to think about place value because we're going to be told to round to a certain place. So let's look at an example. Round this big fat hairy number to the nearest 10,000. So first I'm going to copy down the big fat hairy number. You don't, in your homework, have to do this. Okay, how do you even say that number? Don't you hate when you used to have to write it out? Ugh, it's the worst. Okay, these are the basics. These are the thousands. These are the millions. So this is 47,258,312,065. And we're being asked to round to the nearest 10,000. Okay? So, oh, wait a minute. This changes it. That is a decimal, not a comma. Aren't you glad I saw that? So this is actually 47,258,312.065. So we have to be careful when we're looking at this number to see whether it's 10,000 or 10,000ths, right? If it's on the decimal side, it will have like that. So if this was 10,000ths, it would be here. But this is 10,000, so that's there. So we can count up 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. We circle the digit that we're going to be rounding. Okay? We're rounding to the nearest 10,000, so I circle the digit in the 10,000 place because that's when we're going to be rounded. Remember that we have two choices. We can either stay the same, or we can go up 1. Okay? We look to the digit on the right for instruction. Okay, digit to the right will tell us what to do, and that's why I always put an arrow to it, all right? If the digit is between 0 and 4, that means we stay the same. If the digit is between 5 and 9, that means we go up. So this is our arrow digit that tells us what to do. Our arrow digit is 8. That means we go up 1. So that means our 5 is going to turn into a 6. So we rewrite the number, 47,260,000, and now look, everything else goes to zeros. Right? That's what rounding is. It means get rid of all those details. Just get that digit where you want it to be. Get that digit right, and then everything else just goes to zeros. You know those old-fashioned, they were like 70s alarm clocks, where the clock has little black metal pages, kind of, and the numbers are written on them, and then when they turn, they go click, 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 click. That's what I imagine in my head, all of these going to 0, right? Like on Lost. If you guys ever watch Lost, you know the clock that counts down when they have to hit the button in the, what do they call their bunker things? I'll think of it. That's the kind of clock that I imagine in my head. So once we get this number where we want it, based on this number and this little chart, then everything else, we fix that digit and everything else goes to zeros. That's an important point. Okay. Final answer. Example 100.2. Here is the number. $104.06245327. Okay, round it to the nearest thousandth. Oh, the TH, that tells us decimal land. So we want to go to the nearest thousandth. So we have to have this firmly in our minds. This is 1/10th, 100th, 1,000th. Even though we're down here in decimal land, our process is exactly the same. We circle the digit that we want to be rounded. We draw an arrow to the number to the right. That's the number that's going to guide us as to how to round this. Our choices are either stay at 2 or go up. 4 tells us we're going to stay. So this number becomes 104.062. And then when we're in decimal land, we don't usually write the zeros out. We just drop the zeros. We just show the number exactly like this. And we could have done the same here. We didn't need to show those zeros there. I did that just to be super clear to you that everything after the rounded digit fades away. And the same thing here, we just drop them off. We rounded to the nearest thousandth, and we're done. Well, we're not done with the lesson. We have a couple more to round, but you know what I mean. I mean, maybe. Example 100.3. Round to the nearest 100 millionth. Cat, do you want out? This is a different cat. Millionth. Okay, here's the number. 0.00041378546. Counting to make sure I got the right number of zeros. 413,785,46. Okay, to the nearest 100th millionth. Okay, 10, 100. I'm saying the denominator. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million, 100 million. 8 is the number that we're rounding. It will either stay at 8 or it will go up to 9. This digit tells us what to do. 5 in round up category. So this will become 0.001. 0.0004137.9. And everything else turns to zeros. Click, 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 click. Ta-da! Example 100.4. Round. Okay, this one is slightly different in the way the problem is posed to us. It does kind of help in the beginning if you write the numbers down so that you can, draw your circles and your arrows. So I would like you for the next couple of lessons, so for like 100, 101, 102, write the number out. Then when you really have your skills down, you can just do it in your head by looking at the book. But right now, write them out so that you can write and circle and arrow and all that. Okay. This time we're rounding it to 5 decimal places. Okay, so it doesn't tell us a specific place. It tells us how many places we need to have in our answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 1 will be the last non-zero decimal place in our final number. So that's the number we're rounding. 6 is the number we're using to help us round. Our choices are either to stay at 1 or go up to 2. A 6 tells us to go up to 2, so our answer is 2.00032. John says I did something wrong. Oh, I see what I rounded this correctly. The problem in the book has only 2 zeros. I put 3 zeros, right? So, based on this number, the way I wrote it, this is the right answer. This is the way that John writes it in the book. This is me making a mistake and copying the problem. Typical. So let's do it again the right way. We still want to round it to 5 decimal places. 1, 2, wait, there's the decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the decimal place we want to round. And this is the indicator. 6 will either stay 6 or go up to 7. This tells us to go up. So it's 2.00317. But in both cases, everything else clicks away. And we don't even have to write the zeros for the decimal. We just leave it at this. Okay? Last one. This is a fun one. The number that we get is a repeating decimal. And we're supposed to round it. Oh, John's going to give us a couple different instructions. First, he's going to tell us to round it to 5 decimal places. All right. Well, we look at this and go, dude, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 decimal places. How can we round it to 5 if there are only 4? Oh, but then we remember what that bar means. That means that those 3 digits repeat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write out a few repeats of that. Remember, that's what that bar means, is that the 364 keeps repeating. Now I've got more decimal places. So if I want to go to 5 decimal places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that means it's either 3 or 4. 6 tells me to round up. So at 3 decimal places, this number would be 314.03644. Right? Everything else clicks away. Then part B tells me to go to 9 decimal places. Okay, let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're either going to leave it at 6 or go up to 7. 4 tells us to leave it at 6, so our answer is 314.0. 6, 4, 3, 6, 4, 3, 6. Right? Is that 9 decimal places? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Beautiful. Then it tells us to do it to the nearest hundredth. There's the TH that tells us we're on the decimal side. Hundredth, this is the tens place, this is the hundredth place. So we look to the 6, and we're going to round it to 314.04, right? The 6 tells us to round that up to 4. And then the last one is to the nearest 10. Not tenth, but 10. Okay, so that is the tens place is way over here. 4 tells us what to do. Stay the same. Our options were to stay at 1 or go up to 2. But if we stay here, then we round it to 310. All of these are the right answer. Well, everything. I haven't been smiley facing my answers, but yeah, we done good. No, this one, this was the one that I got crazy on. Yeah, here's where I copied it. This is the one where I got it wrong, because I copied it wrong. I did it, my process was correct, I just copied the problem wrong. This is how John wrote the problem and got it right. These are all right. I was checking as we went. Yay! So, rounding, this used to drive me crazy when I first learned how to round. Rounding is relative, rounding makes sense only when someone else decides what we want to round. What place in our place value hierarchy is where do we want to have digits, and then we recognize that by rounding we're turning everything to the right of that digit to zeros, right? Right here. Okay, I hope this was an easy lesson for you. It's lesson 100. We need to celebrate a century of learning. But that's it, lesson 100. Enjoy.